Hey, so I know you see the title of the video is that being vegan is easier than you think. And I'm not gonna sit here and like say anything about like giving up meat is harder and or I mean is easy. Because I understand that's the main struggle is stuff like that. There's also, I mean, there's science behind that, not only is it just a matter of taste or anything like that. There's like, you know, plenty of reason as to why people want to continue to eat meat. But to the point of why I say that being vegan is easier than you think is because, well, first off, I want to start with a lot of the information that people who are outside of the vegan community and don't actively seek um, good sources of information on being vegan and stuff like that. Well, a lot of the information that those kind of people receive is pretty dated because it comes from, just what they've heard and what has been passed down and stuff like that from either adults who've been around them and stuff like that. And a lot of people like that have been misinformed because all that data information on it being hard. Yes, it was very hard to be vegan, I would say roughly 10 years ago. Or, even 5 years ago was harder. But I mean, 10 years ago was significantly harder. And 20 years ago, I don't even know if I could have been vegan 20 years ago because of just the differences and what was offered back then. So, but I mean, that's the good thing about science and technology is that it helps us move forward in those kind of aspects to do something that's more healthy for ourselves. So, what I mean by that is the technology to create, mock meats and things like that. All those kinds of things have recently come about and or well, it's not that they've recently come about. I mean, things like seitan and tofu and tempeh and things have been around for a very, very long time. But what I mean is like, all the different brands like the Gardines and, the Light Lives and all those kind of things who are making all these like Western based food type things that are now vegan style that used to be only meat based. Same thing with deli meats and all that kind of stuff. All that is now picking up and I mean exploding. Thanks to places like Whole Foods, like all kinds of places like that. But that was another point that I wanted to touch on, which is a good time to transition into it. Is that another point that people bring up is that it's expensive to be vegan, and it's not. It's not expensive to be vegan. That's false. Groceries are expensive right now in general. But if you know how to diet right properly, education on diet is important. And if you know how to diet properly, then being vegan is not expensive because what do you have to do, to get yourself through the day? In the morning time, what? You need a little bit of carbs and you need a little bit of a little bit of like what sugar or something from like a fruit or something like that, and then around lunchtime you might eat something a little bit more hearty with some kind of a protein, and like I don't know something nothing too crazy or anything like that. Based off of how I the average Western diet, a light lunch, and then a little bit of a heavier dinner later on in the afternoon with a bigger, more, sizable amount of maybe a protein or, or like more side dishes than, that will basically all those things, you can easily do that within the realms of your average, like the same grocery store that you shop for your regular stuff that you eat right now, you can go there and buy the exact same things vegan. And what I mean by the exact same thing is I don't mean you can go there and buy a burger. I mean, you might say you're in a neighborhood where you can't buy a veggie burger that's tasty or whatever, or a certain brand and stuff. I even suffer from that because of where I live specifically. I have to go out and get certain items that I really like and pay premium prices for them. But What I'm saying is a burger is a protein. What you need is a protein. So you can easily replace that with a protein if you're thinking based off of dietary needs. Now, if you're thinking based off of taste and you love burgers, because I love burgers, so that's why I actually keep them. And that's what I'm saying is that that's something you're gonna have to buck up on and pay a more premium price. I suggest the Beyond Beef burgers because they're just they're good. But what you call it, whatever suits your taste and stuff like that. If you're gonna go that, you just dish that out for that specific meal, but it doesn't have to be that way for everything. The only thing that would make it expensive for you to be a vegan is if you somehow didn't like vegetables. If you don't like vegetables, and if you for some crazy reason don't like fruit or anything like that, I mean, you're not gonna live a healthy life in general, and you're probably gonna have to take a lot of supplements regardless of what your diet is. So anybody who likes vegetables and then severely like allergic to anything like plant matter or something like that, I don't even know if that's possible. But like my point is, there's no reason that people cannot just eat vegetables to replace any type. Like vegetables contain. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you can eat broccoli and get the same amount of protein. Like I know you've seen those stupid memes and stuff like that where they have like, oh, you can eat this amount of this. You can eat this amount of like this vegetable and you get this amount and return to, a lot of those are fake. But what I can say is that certain protein heavy vegetables like beans and stuff, you can eat a little, you'll have to eat a little bit more, but you'll still get a sufficient amount of protein. And also, this is a point I wanted to touch on is that a lot of people eat way more protein than you fucking. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to curse. A lot of people eat way more protein than you have to. You don't have to eat that much protein. The average person can only absorb like 24 grams of protein or less per day, I think, which is crazy when you think that like the average freaking all those protein bars say that they're like 30 grams of protein and stuff like that. Yeah, well, you're just gonna poop half that out, like you're not gonna absorb that, especially not if you actually eat regular meals too, like you're not gonna absorb that. So my point is, all the protein that you think you need, you don't actually need it unless you live a lifestyle where you're just constantly building muscle and stuff, which I know a lot of people are trying to get fit and stuff like that too. That is something that you can do completely vegan as well. But I mean, it's all a matter. It's all a mental thing when you're talking about that kind of stuff. But my real main point on why I was saying that it's easy to be vegan and the main misconception is really the whole price point thing. And like I was saying, it's just that is a complete misconception. That is just I don't know where it came from. I understand people thinking that it's hard to be vegan because it's like I said, there was like nothing before, but there's a lot now. I don't get where people think that it's like really expensive though, because it's not. And also if you're buying inexpensive meats or like less quality things like that, like you really shouldn't do that either. You really shouldn't do that. Like you should treat yourself a little bit better. And I'm not saying that you can't. Really, the crazy thing about it is a lot of times the things that you don't, if you're eating meat and stuff like that, you don't want to fucking. I gotta stop cursing. Anyways, you don't have to. You shouldn't want to eat like an animal that was like, what I'm saying, like not the best quality. But you can kind of sacrifice a little bit more when it comes to fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, because I mean, I don't know. I'd rather eat a plant that has plant cancer if I had to. If it was like GMO, say it was GMO and it had plant cancer or whatever the heck, I would rather eat that than eat an animal that was GMO and has animal cancer, which is more closely related in DNA. Not just that, but I mean just the blood, like all the put, like what I'm saying, the what goes with that, what they do. I'm not. That's a whole nother video I can get into about the whole industry. I'm not going to deep dive into that. But my point is that all that's, if you want to eat healthy and you want to get better at life, you're gonna be spending a little bit more money on a healthier lifestyle than the average person leads, because the average American does not lead a healthy lifestyle. And what they like to do is they treat, and since the average American doesn't like live a healthy lifestyle, they treat that as a like premium, like a commodity, like a high quality commodity. Just healthcare. Healthcare is sold to us in America. Healthcare is literally sold to us in America. In other places, it is like essential. They believe that their people obviously have to be healthy to be contributing members of society, but not here. Um, Once again, that'd be a whole nother video that I can make. But I don't know how much more I have to say on this, other than like earlier stating that just being vegan is very, very easy. And it's also tasty. Like that's another thing that is a misconception, is that you have to sacrifice flavor. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to say before I got out of here. Is that sacrificing flavor? Like, what are you really thinking about? There is not a piece of meat that you don't see. You don't season meat with itself. You don't season the flavor of meat unless you're like a hardcore carnist or something like that. Most people don't even enjoy the actual flavor of the meat itself. They enjoy the taste of whatever seasoning they put on the piece, the cut, whatever it is, whatever the piece of meat is that they're eating. So that seasoning is always going to either be a vegetable or a mineral. So you can take those seasonings and make a mock-up of any flavor combination, be it sweet, sour, salty, or umami, or whatever, savory, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Anything, you can make the same version vegan style, and it's not hard and it's not expensive. So make sure that you just like pay attention to that kind of stuff. And it's not something, also, this is not for people who just want to solely become vegan. You can apply everything that I just said to any type of plant-based. If you want to incorporate that once a week, you know what I'm saying, one meal a day is meat-free or something like that. Honestly, if you don't have a meat-free, at least, you know what I'm saying, I can understand how in the mornings you could eat at all day something that has animal product because of dairy and stuff like that in the morning, and things in lunch. You're gonna encounter a lot of that stuff. But what I'm saying is, it's very easy to skip one meal's worth of meat or dairy, or make sure that eggs and stuff weren't involved in it. So give it a shot, because it'll help you get into a very good shape. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted. But anyways, so that was my point, is that it's easy, it's easy to season it. Like, flavor is still there. I enjoy it. I'm a culinary freak. I'm not a foodie, because most people are like, I view foodie as like almost a sexual level where you like feel weird feelings. I'm not like that. I just love flavor. I view it more as a curator type of thing. Like, I'm a curator of clothes and everything that I, enjoy in my life, and food is the same thing with me. That's honestly a part of what made me go vegan, is because I wanted to enjoy a different quality